Hey everybody, good morning. Mestre Sucuri coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. This is my first video in my new series of percussion and Afro-Brazilian understanding of music and how to play it as a capoeirista, but also to play along with other professional musicians in the Afro-Brazilian or Latin type music genre. So if you're the type of person who goes to events and you're not confident in playing with bands and playing with other groups, for example, samba reggae or a samba or a pagode started, and you don't really feel comfortable being in that group and playing, or maybe even just in the capoeira music, you don't understand why, you just don't get it. This series is going to be perfect for you. This is my new series here on Patreon, and I hope you guys like it. And if you'd like to get involved in this, all you have to do is become a supporter, as this is a professional course for people who want to really get involved with capoeira music and Afro-Brazilian music in a introductory understanding. And I really recommend this course for people who are professional capoeira instructors. The reason I say that is because these are the things that I've done that are outside the roda in a musical situation or in a musical context. For example, this course will be focusing a lot on several different points. One major important point is this will bring together my 23 years of music here in Japan. When I first came to Japan, I met a lot of Brazilian professional musicians, and I'm talking really good musicians. Not people who just played growing up, but people who were brought from Brazil by Japanese companies to play music in Japan. People like Francis Silva, Marcelo Kimura, Robson Amaral, Diamond Gisals, all these people I consider like family and who have been incredibly kind and gracious over the years to share with me understanding of Brazilian music. And this also includes my study over the last 30 years of Afro-Brazilian percussion and capoeira music, since capoeira music is a part of that. We're going to be focusing on how can you be comfortable in every different aspect of capoeira culture. Now, if you're just interested in only the capoeira part, that's fine. This video is really made for people who want to go to an event and, for example, samba reggae starts and they don't know what to do. They can do a basic, simple thing to fit in and to feel comfortable and to be able to enjoy and express themselves. If you're doing a samba or a pagode, you'll be able to understand how to do one or two basic instruments just so you can participate. This is not a course to teach you to become a professional percussionist or a professional musician. This is a course to help you feel good about what you do, understand what you do, and understand that in the basic context of what music is, right? So we're going to be getting involved a lot in technical aspects, but they're not really like, I'm not going to be teaching you how to read and write music because I don't know how to. But I do know how to read and write my percussion music, how I write it, to help me understand it better. So we'll be going through a lot of different things. And like I said, this is going to be, I'm making this as a professional and a semi-professional course for people interested. If you're interested, join my Patreon, or if you're a Patreon supporter, for $10 a month, because I'll be doing a video every week on music. Another important aspect is I'll be sharing a lot of stories and why it's important, and hopefully you'll be able to laugh as I tell you stories and share things about how I grew as a percussionist, okay? I'm not saying I'm a professional percussionist, I'm a professional percussionist teacher. I'm saying I know what I'm doing, okay? And you'd be surprised how that's more important in some aspects than whether you know this or that. First and foremost, I'm going to show you how each rhythm works when we do something. We're going to be traveling through different instruments like the tam-tam, for samba, the pandeiro in samba and pagode, how to use the chimbal in samba reggae, how to use the surdo and different things. And these instruments are going to help you to express and to understand how you can create your own magic and your own beautiful music inside of this genre, okay? Today, the first instrument I want to talk about is so important, and it's so basic that a lot of times people don't think about it. Capoeiristas, if you haven't seen this instrument is called a tam-tam. Now, the reason this is so important is Generally, one of the main, we're going to go over how do I create swing? How do I create swing? Swing is that axé swinging, swinging a samba, swinging a capoeira, the music to make you feel like the energy, the axé of the music. Now, four important aspects are not only important for professional musicians, but important to create good energy in your music. And this is how it works. First, when I teach percussion, I teach these four basic principles. First, you need to understand technique, how to hit it. A lot of times people are just slamming and just hitting it as hard as they can, and they think that makes it sound better when it doesn't. So how to interact with each instrument, how to have the good posture, how to better present yourself instead of being like this, really understanding how to avoid long-term also like injury. And people will say, oh, my hands hurt from drumming. It's because of technique. Then tuning, how we're going to tune each instrument. Now, tuning can also be very subjective, how you like it. But maybe through this, you'll be able to understand different ways that you can tune it, not just one way, so you can express yourself on multiple levels of tuning, okay? Then, the third one is volume control. And when I mean volume control, some people will be like screaming, singing, or they'll be playing the drums so loud, the atabaque or the surdo so loud, you can't hear the other instruments. So volume control also will deal with that a lot. And finally, what we're going to do today for this first video is understand the most important and basic concept of learning to play percussion or any music is timing. Okay, so we've got technique, tuning, volume control, and timing. What I'm going to do today is show you guys really, really easily how I do this with this instrument, and how, that way you guys can understand in a better way and also develop your own timing. First, I'll go over a simple song, and I'll use the most basic tam-tam. This is a tam-tam. Technique, volume control, swing. Play a little song so you guys can see how it kind of works. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Que me ensinou a nadar, que me ensinou a nadar, foi marinheiro, foi os peixinhos do mar. Foi marinheiro, foi os peixinhos do mar. Paranaê, Paranaê, Paraná. Okay, so you can hear how my voice is still a little bit morning voice, but you can hear how I'm singing on the timing of the pandeiro. The first thing we're going to talk about is posture. I learned this from a really good percussionist, and he calls it the triangle, right? The triangle, when I'm here to my instrument like a triangle. Also, my arms as a triangle. This is more about posture, stage performance. It looks better than being hunched over or doing this, and really just holding the drum, the tam-tam correctly. Nice triangle posture. You can see that from the side. This allows me to play a longer time and more comfortably. Okay. So now I'm on the side so you can see how this works. What I'm going to do with the top hand in a very comfortable position, my triangle, I'm going to keep my wrist straight, because long-term playing, if you do this or this, can start to hurt your wrist, just like carpal tunnel syndrome. So we're going to be very careful with that point. First is going to be my fingers closed to create the one on the surdo drum. So the tam-tam is just like having the two surdo drums. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't worry, we'll get there. But first we're going to work on this today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to center press, because that's where the sound is the best. So every time you get an instrument you have to check where's the sound. It's funny, every time I talk to a musician, it doesn't matter what genre, once I hand them the beating bow and they've touched it for the first time, like they're holding the beating bow, they'll hit with the stick everywhere and try different things, even hit the cabasa, because they're trying to understand the instrument. So we're not going to be dealing with a lot of this is how it is, but how to understand music better, especially percussion. So my first note, inside on the 1. Then I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 1. You see that? Now, the next one's going to be again hitting here. Then at the bottom of the bass, to get the counter of the surdo, and that'll give me my surdo sound on the tam-tam. Now, for this, I'm going to control with the left hand what I'm going to call the other hand note to create swing. 1, between the first and second hand, I'm going to give it a little slap. One, and 2, and. Okay. Now, after that second slap, the first slap, after this here, the thumb, I'm going to slap again. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. So you see how I'm hitting on the and here? Or if you want to count it more easy, like to understand it, be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in Brazilian music, generally musicians will count 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So, e, dois, e, e, dois. Okay? 1, slap, center, open, slap. After that, the last one is just another open. 1 and 2 and 1. Finally, the last part that's important is that you're coming back to the 1. So it's actually 1 and 2 and 1. So we went center, fingers together, pushing in, slap, push in, open thumb. I'm hitting with the inside of the thumb. If I hit like this, it doesn't really work. Some people will go here and then here. So if you get a nice clean technique, either or is fine. One, slap, center, 1, slap, center, open, slap, open. Center, slap, center, open, slap, open. Now let's bring it all together on 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. The importance of this is beyond mentioning. And the reason I say that, the most difficult thing that I encounter is that I'm constantly having to practice my timing. But if you cannot have good timing, you'll hear people play it, especially in Capoeira. This is really common. Or even worse, when people start to sing, they can't control because they haven't developed control of their timing. That's another thing. If you notice, I'm with my feet. I'm creating a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. This is really important for me as it teaches my body to swing. Instead of being really constricted and really rigid and tiring myself out, I'm really just letting it swing. 1 and 2. So just starting like this. Lets me train in a very well-organized timing situation. So right now we're talking about timing. And I'm going to give you guys one really, really cool story and really important thing. One of my uncles, when he taught me to do a lot of, when he was teaching me, we call dicas, little stories or little expressions, he said, not only you have to have the triangle, but from the beginning, I tell all my students, and very few listen, and this is why percussion is such a challenging thing for them. You need to develop full body percussion. The instrument becomes not an instrument, but a part of you creating this swing, this rhythm, this music. I'm going to show you how I train the most simple tam-tam and how I agree that this is probably the best way because it teaches you to flow, to swing, but also it starts to prepare you for singing so that you can sing from the beginning. And how to do that is when you bring the 3 points together. Rhythm, timing on the instrument, vocal, and body. So I'm going to over-exaggerate the knees a little bit here. It's going to go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. At the same time, I'm going to practice by vocalizing. This could be me singing in the future. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2. E o me tata que o malembe. E o me tata que o malembe. This brings the vocal, the body, and the instrument together in timing. I'm connecting everything. I'm keeping my good posture, my good technique. Most important is that we develop a really good sense of timing, and the tam-tam is the perfect instrument. In our course, we're going to call this tam-tam rhythm 1 or tam-tam ritmo 1. Guys, I really hope you like this. This first video, I will put public. And then after this, we're going to get into so many great things. We're going to get into the chimbal. We're going to get into the surdo, the repinique, the caixa, the berimbau, the pandeiro, the atabaque, congas, how to develop all the different rhythms and techniques. Most important, how to, if you're having a problem understanding how to play the instruments, mostly it's because you've been taught to copy versus taught how to do it and how it works. I'm hoping that this course will bring everything together for all you wonderful people. And of course, when you're in my Patreon supporting, you're not only supporting me to do this course, but you're supporting me to do everything I do. I will start these videos from today, and it'll be a new video every week for you guys to learn and to better understand Afro-Brazilian percussion and especially how it works with Capoeira music. Guys, Mestre Sucuri, thank you for supporting. Have a blessed day. Lots of love, lots of peace, lots of Capoeira, lots of music. Chico não vai na curimba, Chico não quer curimba. Bebeu água de moringa, dorme no pé do congado. Hoje não faz mais mandinga, no que saracutear. Chico não acende vela, nem manda flores pra seu orixás. Ele de banda cheiro, ele de banda cheira. Ele de banda cheiro, ele de banda cheira. Guys, have a great day.